It's sort of a crazy festival. Special ceremonies and dressing up.
That sounds fun.
Unbelievable.
Welcome and happy Midsummer. Skål!
Well, let the festivities begin. This is Midsommer, a film written and directed by Ari Aster and produced by Lars Knudsen and about 11 other producers, starring Florence Pugh and Jack Rayner as a young couple that travels to Sweden with their Swedish grad student friend and 2 other friends to take in these festivities. And what starts out to be frolicking in idyllic countryside turns into an hallucinogenic nightmare. Oh my God. I wanted to walk out of this film. I was so on the edge of my seat. There's a lot of, I don't know, Conrad, how do you describe this film?
This is probably one of the most unique films you will see this summer. And it definitely has one of the most interesting storylines that I think any viewing audience has seen in a very long time. This is a bizarre, trippy, hallucinogenic film, as you said, that has some very interesting cinematography that really takes you to see where this event is taking place, and then it pushes you inside of the film.
Yeah, that's right.
And on top of all of that, this film has a very unique music score soundtrack of Swedish eerie music that once again it just continues to push this film in.
In fact, the soundtrack, as you mentioned, was actually by a cult-inspired UK electronic band.
Oh, really? One of the things I think the director does very well here is that he slowly takes you into where you're going to go. You see what's happening and you slowly go there. And once you get into what goes on, you're there. But he has a tendency to just give you more of it and more of it to where you kind of start either laughing or you start looking away because it just gets to be too much of what he's presenting sometimes.
And when we're talking about their world, they enter into their Swedish friends community, which is his family, which is actually a pagan cult.
Which looks idyllic.
Idyllic.
Very
They're dancing
relaxing.
Swedish with
Yep, very much so.
flowers in their hair, and the little nuances, the looks, as they're welcoming in the 4 friends.
Yeah. And that's a good point. As you're watching this film, you really have to, you listen to the actors anyways, but you really have to listen to what they're saying because they're telling you some things that may go on in this film.
There's a little bit of prefacing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of murals that you're going to see. Just watch this film closely because they tell you some things and you're going to look back and think, oh, I get it.
Well, you know what? When you think about the beginning, we should preface this with Danny, who's the lead character, played by Florence Pugh. She's decided to go to Sweden with her boyfriend who wants to break up with her. So Ari, the writer-director, kind of says this is really about a breakup and what happens with that.
Right.
And actually, if you think about it, yeah, it is.
It is.
It is.
And you see it later on, but you don't realize that that's what this is because this is just so many different things, right? And I read somewhere that this is not Swedish history, but this is Swedish folklore. And
folklore, yeah.
They are saying that one of the scenes that takes place in this movie that kicks it into full gear is something that actually exists, and it is actually a historical site that people can go and visit.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, I do want to talk about Jack Rayner, I think his name is?
Jack Rayner.
Rayner. He is the main male lead.
Christian. He plays Christian.
He plays Christian. There is a scene, there are many scenes in this film. There is a scene that goes on that will just throw you while you're watching it, and why, again, the director just goes on and on and on in this scene. But the young girl that he is in this scene with, her name is Isabella Grill. She plays the main character of Maja, I think her name is.
I think it's Maya.
Maya. This is her first film.
Oh,
and just imagine
whoa, what a role.
being in that scene as being your first film.
I mean, that scene that took 2 weeks to shoot.
Ooh, that was amazing. That was amazing, right?
But I do want to say one thing, because we haven't mentioned this yet, that Ari Aster, who is a writer-director, this is his second, full feature-length film.
Yeah.
His first being Hereditary, out just last year, which also had an occult bent to it, and it was strange.
Yeah, and it had an odd
but
cinematography.
he had
also.
A-list actors in there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tipped to the opposite direction. You should look that up and watch that. I highly recommend it.
So we talked earlier about the rating for this.
Well, yeah,
Let's talk about this, because this is kind of an odd rating
Yeah.
that I don't think you see very often in films.
I mean, it's rated R, but if you look, even in the parents' guide, parents' guide, adults' guide, I mean, sex and nudity, severe, right?
Most definitely.
Violence and gore, severe.
Most definitely.
So you gotta be ready for this. Well, alcohol, drugs. Well, the drugs are all the hallucinogens, everything they're taking.
Yep.
Severe, frightening, intense scenes, like very severe.
Yeah.
And you, as we said, build up is slow. You don't know when it's coming, and then,
And that's what I like about this film. I don't really know any of these actors in this film. I know they're all very, very much established. Of course, talk about this young girl who was her first one. But the fact that I don't know who these actors are really helps me get involved in this film. Because I think, you know what, maybe they are these characters. Maybe there is this place. And so for that reason, I really liked it. Why don't we do our rating? However, before we do our rating,
yes.
I think we both have a little bit of mineral water with some special properties.
Special properties.
And when you see this film, you'll know what that's about. So,
Skål.
Let it take effect. Would you like to go first on the review? On the rating?
I would, Conrad. For me, what I liked about it was the soundtrack and cinematography, the way they played together. It just brought you in and engulfed you. The acting, again, naive young actors, very believable, and the shock value. But I also wanted to walk out. So I'm really on the line here.
It's one of those movies.
So I'm upping it a little. I'm giving it 3.5 wine glasses.
So I'm going to give it. It's an odd film that you should see. I'm going to give it 4.5 popcorns.
Okay.
Go figure.
All right.
The film is called
Midsommer. Skål.
Skål.